Halo, selamat datang di Platinum. Saya Olivia Marzuki akan mengajak Anda melihat sisi premium dari Indonesia dan mancanegara. Sebuah klub eksekutif di Amerika Serikat bernama The Ainsworth ternyata memiliki rahasia bawah tanah. Ya, di tempat berkumpulnya para pelaku bisnis hedge fund ini ternyata ada satu toko rahasia di mana para pria kaya Manhattan membuat pakaiannya.
The Ainsworth. It's a sports bar and a not-so-secret hedge fund hangout.
I'm here to see Ryan.
Okay.
The secret is below ground. They've got this hush-hush custom suit shop where the money men of Manhattan buy their clothes. Celebs from Albert Brooks to DJ Diplo, they've all gone below ground to get suited up.
This was one we did for Ryan Lochte.
Oh wow, you've even got his name in there.
It's all about exclusivity, creating something that fits your personality.
Oh, skull and crossbones.
You could do the felt behind the collar, you could do your special lining, certain buttons, you could do everything to make it your specific suit.
It's not the most expensive game in town, but the whole underground thing, it makes you feel like an insider, so you get exactly what you want.
We have a lot of guys who are interested in American Psycho, so we have the Bateman line in. This has got a nice grayish hue to it.
Fittings can take up to about an hour, and the suits, 4 to 6 weeks. The good news, though, you can head back upstairs to the bar, and you can party while you wait.
Mobil dan sepeda motor berkecepatan tinggi ternyata merupakan kegemaran keluarga kerajaan Yordania. Selain mengendarainya, mereka juga menjadikan benda ini sebagai barang koleksi. Anda dapat melihat koleksi ini dipamerkan dalam sebuah museum di Kota Amman, Yordania.
Museum ini dibangun tepat di tengah kota Amman, ibu kota Yordania, untuk menyimpan mobil dan sepeda motor paling unik di dunia. Kendaraan yang dipamerkan menceritakan sejarah dan gaya hidup elegan dinasti yang pernah berkuasa di dunia sejak awal tahun 1900-an. Museum kendaraan keluarga kerajaan ini dibangun pada tahun 2003 dan pada masa pemerintahan Raja Abdullah II sebagai penghargaan kepada ayahnya Hussein yang wafat akibat kanker tahun 1999. Letak museum berseberangan dengan kantor Abdullah. Sama seperti Abdullah, Hussein juga seorang pembalap yang sering meraih penghargaan lokal. Dia sering terlihat mengendarai sepeda motor dengan kecepatan tinggi yang menunjukkan ketangguhan mesin. Hobi otomotif mulai dirintis oleh kakek Raja Abdullah I pada awal tahun 1900.
So we took the cars and made them tell the events, and the cars were the witnesses of all the events that occurred in the country since inception, since it was an emirate, and then when it became a kingdom, and until today.
Di dinding museum juga ditampilkan foto-foto Raja Hussein. Salah satunya sewaktu mengendarai sepeda motor dengan istrinya Lisa Halabi di gurun Wadi Rum.
This is the second time I've been to the museum. It's a wonderful display of many different types of vehicles, particularly those from World War II, the 1950s, 1960s and such. The collection is the best I've ever seen.
Lebih dari 70 mobil dan 50 sepeda motor dipamerkan di museum ini mulai dari keluaran tahun 1907. Museum ini telah menarik lebih dari 1 juta pengunjung dalam 1 dekade terakhir.
Platinum akan kembali dengan informasi tentang bisnis high resort di Indonesia. Tetaplah bersama kami. Anda kembali bersama Platinum. Terletak di salah satu kepulauan Indonesia, resor yang satu ini tak hanya menawarkan kemewahan, tapi juga keindahan alam di Pulau Moyo, Nusa Tenggara Barat. Kita akan melihat seperti apa bisnis high resort di Indonesia. Namun terlebih dahulu, kita simak highlight berikut.
The Royal Penthouse Suite di Hotel Presiden Wilson diyakini sebagai kamar hotel termahal di dunia. Terletak di Geneva, Swiss, setiap tamu harus mengeluarkan uang sebesar 52.000 euro atau lebih dari 900 juta rupiah per malam. Sesuai dengan harganya, fasilitas yang ditawarkan sangat berkelas. Hotel ini dipenuhi berbagai karya seni seperti vas, lukisan terkenal ataupun karpet Persia, dan kamar seluas 1.000 meter persegi yang terdiri dari 4 kamar tidur, beberapa ruang keluarga, perpustakaan, ruang makan, dan juga koki pribadi. Memperingati ulang tahunnya yang ke-250 tahun, produsen kristal asal Prancis Baccarat berkolaborasi dengan Japanese design studio Nendo. Dalam kolaborasinya kali ini, Baccarat memproduksi satu set kristal catur yang dibuat terbatas. Kristal catur ini terbuat dari kristal berwarna bening dan midnight blue. Produsen mobil terkemuka Inggris Aston Martin secara resmi mengumumkan edisi spesialnya yang akan dipamerkan tepat pada ajang Geneva Motor Show di awal bulan Maret 2014 mendatang. Aston Martin V8 Vantage N430 akan hadir dengan desain body roadster yang menggunakan mesin V8 4,7 liter dengan kecepatan tertinggi 190 km per jam. Namun harga mobil ini akan dirilis tepat pada awal Maret 2014.
Indonesia dianggap sebagai salah satu negara dengan prospek bisnis dan profitabilitas industri perhotelan terbaik di dunia. Hal ini memberikan angin segar bagi para pelaku bisnis hotel di tanah air. Dan resor yang satu ini yang terletak di pulau kecil membuktikan eksistensinya sejak 12 tahun yang lalu.
Berlibur di pulau terpencil ternyata bisa menjadi sesuatu yang mewah. Untuk merasakan hal itu, Pulau Moyo di Nusa Tenggara Barat menjadi tujuan kami. Perjalanan kami awali dari Bali menggunakan pesawat Cessna Caravan selama 1 jam menuju pulau seluas 36.000 hektar ini. Pesawat yang mendarat tepat di atas air ini adalah salah satu fasilitas transportasi andalan milik Amanwana Resort. Biayanya lebih dari Rp5.200.000 untuk satu kali perjalanan. Sayangnya bila cuaca tidak mendukung, maka tamu akan sulit mencapai pulau ini. Hal ini tentu mempengaruhi okupansi resort. Meski hanya memiliki okupansi atau tingkat penghunian kamar di bawah 50% dalam 1 bulan, ternyata hotel satu-satunya di pulau ini masih mampu memenuhi biaya operasional mereka sejak 12 tahun lalu. Padahal biaya untuk merawat fasilitas di tempat ini tentunya tidak murah. Faktor geografis menjadi salah satu penyebab resort ini menelan biaya perawatan yang besar.
To manage Amanwana, the biggest challenge is one of the biggest challenges is the transportation. To make sure that when the guests arrive at the airport, they have a smooth transfer to arrive to Amanwana. Another challenge is to make sure that we have all the supplies.
Bagaimana tidak? Tingginya harga kamar menjadi faktor penyokong utama bagi Amanwana Resort hingga saat ini. Satu buah kamar dengan pemandangan hutan dikenakan biaya lebih dari 10 juta rupiah, sedangkan kamar dengan pemandangan laut lebih dari 12 juta rupiah per malam. Meski harga sewa kamar yang ditawarkan cukup tinggi, namun hal itu tidak menyurutkan minat para kaum jet set untuk menikmati keindahan alam dan privasi yang menjadi daya tarik resort ini. Beberapa fasilitas resort yang memanfaatkan alam Pulau Moyo tersebut adalah wisata air terjun Mata Jitu. Meski untuk mencapai air terjun ini tidak mudah, tapi keindahannya menggantikan semua rasa lelah. Selain itu, wisata bawah laut dengan sajian pemandangan kekayaan Laut Flores. Atau bioskop pribadi di pinggir laut. Dan untuk semua fasilitas pribadi tersebut, setiap tamu akan dikenakan biaya lebih dari 4 juta rupiah.
Amanwana is the only hotel on the Moyo Island. So people, they are looking for privacy and they want to escape from the rush of the city. They are looking to come to Amanwana.
Tak heran tokoh politik, selebritis Indonesia hingga dunia seperti Blake Lively, Maria Sharapova dan keluarga kerajaan Lady Diana pun pernah menjadi tamu di resort ini.
Jean-Claude, thank you for having us here. What is the trademark of Aman? What do people know? Okay, so this is Aman from Aman Group, run by Aman Group. What would they know? What would they expect?
Well, I think people think we're just very expensive, but you know, we're not. It's not all about that. It's what we try to create here is, as I said, we try and run them like homes, and we pride ourselves on service, and we pride ourselves on privacy. So when a guest comes in, whatever part of the world, whether it's Indonesia or England or Paris, we try and give them the sense of home, and we try and keep it very understated. We're not, you know, we're not very flashy or anything. It's more about just simple hospitality, you know, and the core principles of that is what we're trying to, you know, provide the market.
Great hospitality, treated as a family.
Yeah.
Why so expensive?
Well, I think there's you know, because we have very spacious properties, we only have 35 rooms. They're very good size, the rooms. And also too, I think we do have a level of service that warrants that. And privacy does come at a price. Whether you think it does or not, it still comes at a price.
Princess Diana was in one of your resorts, or Beckham is one of your resorts, or maybe many others that we don't know. How do you manage that? How?
Well, that's a reason why a lot of guests stay here. I mean, we protect their privacy in the hotel, and we also protect their privacy outside the hotel. So we never disclose who stays with us. So anyone from anywhere in the world that want to stay with us, we would never disclose who stays with us. So some people have heard of, you know, some famous personalities staying here, but that's not coming from us. It comes from outside sources. So we want to protect our guests' privacy, and it's important when they do leave that that's not you know, talked about, because that's one of the reasons why they come back, because they feel that they are safe with us, and they are we do respect their privacy. So and that's important. So that was
And then that's sort of like a big area.
Well, it depends. Some are larger.
And so, out of all your properties in Indonesia, which one is the most famous, most sellable?
Hard question. But actually, no, it's an easy question. You know, they're all sellable. They're all very, very well positioned properties. They offer such a great experience that there's a lot to market with them. I wouldn't say there's one more famous than the other. I think they all offer their own unique style, their own, you know, their own special experience. So they're a great collection of 5 properties that I think reflect and represent Indonesia in the different areas that they're located. So I think for me, I mean, a lot of people remember Amandari. It was our first property that we opened in Indonesia. So that would be our most established property. And our youngest property now is Amanjiwa, and Amanjiwa, which, as you know, is located in front of Borobudur. It's becoming a very popular destination. The growth we've seen in Java, especially with Amanjiwa, has been very encouraging.
Well, out of your properties, you have one boat, yeah, to finish the
we have the Amanikan. Yeah.
How is it going for the?
Amanikan,
is it doing good in the business-wise?
The boat's been very well received. It's only 3 cabins, so it's a private charter. The guests who go on board Amanikan, they normally spend 5 to 7 days. They have their own crew.
And then around that, what's the percentage of the occupancy?
For the boat?
For the boat.
We run above 70.
70?
Above, yeah. So.
And who's your customers for the boat itself? You have Indonesians charter the boat.
Of course, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
It's for those who, you know, who love diving, who loves that being on the ocean, you know, that adventure. It's quite an adventure. With
your room rates, like like almost $1,000 per night, it's not uncommon in Bali. And in general, for all properties here, in general, what is the occupancy rate for Aman?
Our peak periods are normally around the European holidays. So that starts from June till, you know, end of August, September. So that runs pretty high.
How high?
Christmas, New Year is always pretty pretty busy. So, you know, around the peak seasons we'll run up to 70, 80 for those peak periods. So it's pretty busy, and for a small properties it makes it interesting, especially for the manager and the team. But we love seeing it busy, and they're at peak and they run pretty high.
Okay. For the future, is there any plans for Aman to expand more in Indonesia?
There's always plans. There's always room to expand. I think we would probably be looking further east. I think East Indonesia is an area where our chairman would like to see more of the almonds. I'd hesitate to mention specifically, but we see East Indonesia as a very interesting growth area.
Usai jeda berikut, Platinum masih akan kembali dengan berbagai informasi dari mancanegara. Tetaplah bersama kami. Anda masih bersama Platinum. Produsen otomotif kenamaan dunia seperti BMW, Peugeot, dan Opel berlomba-lomba memamerkan kecanggihan produksi mereka. Kali ini bukan dalam tayangan film layar lebar, melainkan pameran konsep cars di Paris yang menampilkan karya nyata mobil masa depan.
Mobil konsep semakin unik dan tentu semakin digemari. Produsen mobil berlomba-lomba memamerkan karyanya yang mungkin atau tidak sama sekali dipamerkan di masa depan. Jawabannya adalah demi menarik perhatian pecinta otomotif. Inilah 5 mobil konsep dari yang sekedar hayalan hingga realita.
What you see behind me is an example of both what's amazing about concept cars and the problem with concept cars.
Ini adalah Toyota FT1 yang sukses mencuri perhatian di Detroit Auto Show. Walau dengan desain yang menawan, mobil ini sayangnya tidak bermesin. Karena Toyota memang tidak berencana untuk memproduksinya.
This is the Honda FC EV concept. Although they will make a fuel cell vehicle in 2015 for the US, this has a completely opaque plastic greenhouse, so you can't get in and out of it, and you definitely can't drive it. Expect the real car to look completely different and not nearly as cool. Some concepts like this Audi shooting brake are made to display a certain aspect of the future production car. In this case, the showcase and the display is really on the interior. There's no center stack here, and all of the gauges will be in its display right in front of the driver to keep his eyes on the road while he's operating the vehicle. This is the Nissan Sport Sedan concept. It's a rolling concept, which means there's an actual working powertrain inside. It does have what's called a floating roof. It's a transparent glass roof that makes the interior feel roomier, and a lot of people find the design really striking. In fact, people are saying this could be the next Nissan Maxima, so it could actually see production. So on the spectrum of concept cars that will never be made and those that are almost in production, this one falls at the lucky end for consumers. If you want a long coupe with an aluminum body, 450 horsepower, and more than 500 pound-feet of torque, the Mercedes S-Coupe is just about to become a realization. They're only going to change little things like these mirrors.
Tradisi berlayar dengan perahu tradisional Arab atau yang dikenal dengan dhow perlahan-lahan mulai ditinggalkan. Namun moda transportasi penting dalam distribusi barang di wilayah Teluk ini dihidupkan kembali oleh salah satu keluarga kaya di Dubai. Mereka membangun perahu dhow terbesar di dunia.
Selama berabad-abad, kapal layar tradisional Arab atau dhow digunakan pada jalur perdagangan yang menghubungkan negara-negara di sekitar Teluk dan Afrika Timur. Hal ini yang membuat industri perahu menjadi salah satu sektor utama di Dubai. Industri ini perlahan memudar seiring dengan kehadiran kapal-kapal besar yang lebih canggih dan efisien. Namun, sebuah keluarga di Dubai bertekad untuk melanjutkan tradisi, yaitu dengan kembali membangun perahu dhow. Tidak tanggung-tanggung, perahu ini akan menjadi dhow terbesar sepanjang sejarah.
Our job, our father job, our grandfather job. We cannot leave this job. We cannot. If you close this job, what you will do? We don't know anything, only this job. We love this job, we cannot leave, we cannot stop.
Perusahaan Obaid memperkirakan dana yang dibutuhkan untuk membangun dhow ini mencapai 4 juta dolar Amerika atau sekitar 47,3 miliar rupiah. Panjangnya mencapai 84 meter, lebar 20 meter dan tinggi 30 meter serta mampu mengangkut barang hingga 4.000 ton. Saat ini rekor dhow terbesar dimiliki oleh keluarga asal Kuwait dengan panjang perahu mencapai 80,4 meter dan daya angkut barang mencapai 2.500 ton.
इसलिए एक हमारा ये जॉब है, हमारा फैमिली का, हमारा खानदान का ये जॉब है, तो थोड़ा इसमें इंटरेस्ट हमारे को ज़्यादा रखता है. जो काम में इंटरेस्ट रखेगा वही आगे जाएगा.
Meski kian tersisih, keluarga Obaid mengaku akan terus membangun perahu dhow selama masih ada permintaan.
Bepergian memang tidak selamanya menyenangkan, apalagi jika Anda harus menunggu lama dalam bandara yang penuh sesak. Sebuah airport lounge di Hong Kong cukup cermat dalam membidik pangsa pasar penumpang kelas ekonomi yang mendambakan layanan airport lounge ala first class.
Awal tahun ini, Bandara Hong Kong memprediksi volume penerbangan naik 6,7% dibandingkan pada tahun lalu. Hal ini disebabkan lonjakan penumpang pada tahun baru Cina kemarin. Maskapai menambah frekuensi rute ke destinasi populer seperti Seoul, Bali, dan Sapporo, dan pastinya potensi penerbangan yang tertunda.
Looking to escape the crowds, travelers may head to a lounge. Not a member of an elite airline program? No problem. You can pay at the door. In fact, Asia's largest pay-to-use lounge is right here in Hong Kong in Terminal 1.
For $53 for 2-hour use, we provide you with 15 sort of cuisines, and also we have 15 workstations with high-speed Wi-Fi facilities, shower facilities, and also we have newspapers. And always see very nice ambience for you to take a rest in here. Present moment, every day we're taking over 6,000 people a day of all the lounges that we manage and we run. So we're expecting to increase about 15 to 20% over the Chinese New Year.
Bisa dibilang lounge ini adalah oasis di tengah hingar-bingar bandara. Plaza Premium Lounge bangga menjadi satu-satunya penyedia fasilitas premium setingkat first class bagi para penumpang kelas ekonomi.
We realized that in the full board of plane, 15% is travel first and business class, 85% travel economy class. Airline were taking care of this 15%, but nobody taking care of this 85%. Bound to be few percentage out of this 85% require this kind of lounge services.
Well, this is certainly one way to take the stress out of travel. Sit back, relax, and lounge a little longer.
Dan demikian lahir dari Platinum kali ini. Saya Olivia Marzuki, terima kasih atas kebersamaan Anda. Sampai jumpa.